Good evening, America. Welcome back to another episode of Break the Machine podcast. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. I hope you know, everything was good. If you've been paying attention to the news, we have freaking Euro cokeheads just like our cokeheads running our countries and whatnot. Uh it's pretty funny to watch with Macron and just trying to hide fucking bags of coke and stuff. It was pretty. I look at least it looked like it was to me. The German chancellor with his freaking coke spoon and stuff. It looked that way to me. Some people were like, "Eh, no, it's not." I think they were probably fucking sniff and blow. It's all good. We got our share of fucking crackheads and coke fiends in government here in the U.S. and whatnot. So, it's just funny as fuck to see. But without further ado, um, let me bring in Red Day, and I'll do take care of this stuff, and then we'll get into it. So, if you'd like to support the channel, Red Day, what's going on, brother?
Hey man, how are you?
If you'd like to support the channel, there is a buy me a coffee link at the top of each chat in both Rumble and YouTube. Don't forget to take a look at our sponsors, Scars and Stripes, coffee brand that's all about faith, family, and freedom. There is, if you click the link in the description, my coupon code should be part of it. You'll probably see a ticker going across the screen occasionally and whatnot to give you that same link and code in case you want to copy it down. With that said, Red Day, did you see that shit with the cokeheads in fucking Europe, man? I was just, and
Of
they
course.
that
What's
shit was hilarious, bro.
what's the excuse? I mean,
Uh,
what's the excuse? That's pretty much what it is. I heard that they were going to be releasing. Gave a statement that they were going to be releasing a statement, which is like the
yeah, they
funniest thing.
they actually did release statements. I
Did
think and but first we'll watch some video footage of these guys trying to be slick, trying to do, some hand fucking movements and as if nobody actually saw this shit.
oh
I think this shit was funny. You know, listen, we
yeah.
have cokeheads running our country too,
I
so
mean,
what are you
it
gonna do?
it wasn't that long ago that they found stuff at the White House, right?
Correct. And like I said, even like in Congress and the Senate, these dudes are just getting fucking lit up in at these parties and whatnot. Um, it's just funny, real funny to watch, man. And just I know they
Hmm.
try to do verbal judo and shit, but it's just pretty fucking hysterical, actually. So this is from the Gateway Pundit from this weekend. From yesterday, it says French President Emmanuel Macron suffered an
Hmm.
embarrassing moment during a train ride into Ukraine on Sunday. Reporters filmed Macron during a train ride from Poland to Ukraine with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. The three leaders are on their way to Kiev to discuss the ongoing war with Russia and potential peace talks. They want to get their fucking troops in there, is what they want to do. Rumors quickly began
Sure.
to spread that Macron possessed cocaine after he quickly grabbed a crumpled up tissue. Others speculated that Merz tried to cover a straw or a spoon. So we got fucking some quick footage here of
So
them
dumb.
fucking getting
Cannot
together.
believe that.
It is what it is, man. We'll
Oh,
see.
it's
I think the
a
shit's
lot more
hilarious.
now. Are we back in Poland?
And through my bathroom, huh?
Yeah. It's literally. We came through Germany, and then we made it
the
to
German
France.
bedroom and the
Bro, they are so fucking goofy. It's more funny how goofy they really are here. Here it comes.
Yeah.
Up.
Oh,
And your boy fucking, he's like, let me slide this shit off the fucking desk. Like, let me
so
that shit
bad.
we did in high school with fucking or school. Let me slide it off the desk.
Hmm.
That shit is fun, man.
That was worse.
Listen.
Wasn't there a moment where like Bobby Brown like dropped his thing on stage, or was that
I
some
think
was that another
so.
singer?
I forgot who it was. There was a fucking
It was
a
like some one of those
performer,
'90s guys.
yeah, that dropped their shit on the stage as they were walking by. I forgot who
So
it
bad.
was.
Thought it
I
was
totally
Bobby Brown,
forgot.
but who knows?
Yeah,
Might not have been him.
it definitely might have been him. That shit is hilarious,
Oh
man.
my God.
I y- you know,
Why?
but here's the thing, fam. Uh, this is something that's not uncommon in any fucking political sphere, no matter the country, right? Like this is a thing that it's they have fucking smorgasbord parties of just getting themselves doped up on shit and whatnot. These fucking scumbags that run our countries and whatnot. Listen, we had
Mhm.
in the last administration, we had Hunter Biden even his shit all over the fucking White House and whatnot, and Secret Service, pulling fucking, coke, hide the coke fucking today,
Mhm.
shifts and whatnot. Who's gonna hide the coke today shifts and stuff? So I get it. I just think it's fucking hilarious. Yeah, it's conserved reality. I agree 100%. The alleged Hunter Biden coke bag in the White House. We all knew who it fucking belonged. You
Of
know,
course.
they went out of their way to freaking cover that shit up, but everybody knew who it was. It's not like nobody didn't fucking know. If you're just joining us on Rumble, actually we got the count up today, so that's good. It wasn't working on Friday. Remember that shit? That sucked. I couldn't see the chat. But
You
tonight
can
we
see it
got
all
the
right
Rumble
today?
working. Yeah, tonight we can
Good.
see the Rumble chat, which is pretty good. Um, it's coming up in the feed too, YouTube on. But again, they got attacked on Friday, so that all went to
Yep.
shit really really quick. Uh, but yeah. So what's going on with there's some shit going on with China. Did some shit happen fucking today? Supposedly
Well, they
we made a
signed.
deal with China.
Yep. I mean, it's it's a new trade agreement,
Okay,
and I mean that's pretty much it. I have not had a chance to like read the details of all of it,
I'll
but
bring it up then.
it it was good enough that it made the stock market rebound today. They had a huge gains today.
I saw it was up like a
Um,
thousand points or something like that, right?
yeah,
It went up like a
and
thousand.
I think it might have been a 90. There was some 90-day pause put on it, but I don't know if that was a 90-day pause on all tariffs or if that was just
Yeah,
until the deal kicks in.
you know
Um,
what? I just brought up an article from the Gateway Pundit. We'll read a little bit into it and then discuss it some more. But Rogue Nina,
mhm.
what is going on? Rogue Nina, we are having movie night on Saturday. Since you've been a trooper hanging with us every movie night and whatnot, you get to pick the movie. So, think about a movie, talk it over with Jonathan, and see if we can get that going for next Saturday. Abe, what is up, brother? What is going on? It's good to see you, man. Um, Abe's in the chat. uh, yeah. Let me see. So Conserve Reality, we're gonna read a little bit, but Conserve says, I believe it was a 90-day pause due to multiple negotiations going on and to allow for the end of the Q1 projections. That makes sense. But anyway, I pulled up an article.
That's a businessman.
Uh, yeah, it says White House announces details of historic deal with China. Tariffs reduced by 115% during 90-day pause period. China agrees to address fentanyl crisis. It says the White House has released details on the historic trade deal with China that Trump and his team secured on Sunday, cutting both countries' tariffs on each other's imported goods by 115% for at least 90 days. U.S. Trade Representative Ambassador Jameson Greer and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent held discussions in Geneva, Switzerland, with Chinese representatives. These talks aim to address the escalating trade war, which has seen the U.S. impose tariffs as high as 145% on Chinese goods, with China retaliating with 125% tariffs on
Mhm.
American products. As the Gateway Pundit reported on Sunday, Bessent announced that they struck a deal during the 8-hour meetings. And then it goes on to say this new deal with China comes after President Trump announced his first trade deal in a press conference with United Kingdom Prime Minister Keir Starmer, which retains the United States' 10% reciprocal tariff rate along with increased tariffs on automobile imports. Meanwhile, the White House says the UK is expected to reduce tariff and non tariff barriers on meat, poultry, and dairy, which can exceed 125%. Yeah, that's fucking
Mhm.
insane, man. China and the United States have agreed to reduce tariffs by May 14th, with China retaining a 10% tariff on American goods, while the U.S. retains a 10% reciprocal tariff on Chinese goods. Additionally, China has agreed to help the U.S. take aggressive actions to stem the flow of fentanyl and other precursors from China to illicit drug producers in North America. So, uh,
Two
there it
things.
is. Go ahead, bro.
Two things. One, um, I already have the montage of all the fake news outlets for the last month saying, "Why would Trump pick a fight with China? on a trade
Yes.
war. That's the dumbest thing.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
god. He's gonna fail. He's gonna lose. They're not gonna make a deal with him.
Yeah.
Ooh. I already
Yeah.
have that montage. And
Yeah. Do you
two,
remember that?
yeah. And two, did you actually hear what Besant, I think it was Scott Besant, what he
Uh-huh.
said that the no, it didn't come from Ping himself, but it came from one of his one of his reps. Um,
Hmm.
he said to him, and then Scott relayed it to us. I think it was earlier today that when they asked him like why didn't they try to do that under Biden, they basically admitted that as soon as Biden became president, they said screw everything. We know Biden's not going to be able to do anything about it.
Right. Yeah. That. Well,
He said
I mean, we've
there's
talked
no
about
way.
that.
I
How
mean, we
fucking.
knew, but the fact that
Yeah.
it came from them is like hilarious.
Right. That makes. They just owned up to it. Abe says what's interesting is that it's tantamount to China confessing to having a role in the fentanyl crisis. 100%, Abe. Um, what was this? Conserve says the Coast Guard just caught a whole bunch of drugs in the ocean with ICE and DA, I believe. See, guys, I'm out of the news cycle. I'm probably going to be out of it most of this week because I just
It's tough
started
to
a new
keep up with,
job.
man.
So, yeah, I'm paying attention. It was already hard, and then this week I got a whole bunch of shit to learn. Um, Rogue Nina says the sky is falling montage. Scott, going back
Mhm.
to the sky is falling.
Yep.
It's true,
Crazy.
man. It is so true. It's nuts. It's they were all over plastered all over X, Instagram,
Yeah.
everywhere that they could about it's the end of the world as you fucking know because China's gonna
Mhm.
it's just the end. Period. We have to
Yeah.
we have to make
There's
this
no way
deal
that we could win a trade war with China.
correct.
And it's not about winning. That's the thing. It's not about winning. It's about just making things
Negotiating.
better than what they were. And we
Yeah.
were in a shitty spot. So it's like, it's like there was hardly anywhere to go but up.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Anything would
It's
have been better than what we had.
Yeah, and we've said it on this show 1,000 times already since I'm constantly bringing up the tariffs because I don't want people to forget about it. I want people to understand that Trump is working to fix shit for us. He understands that not everything is going to be fucking correct, but let it be at least reciprocal, right? We're not always going to get like on each other be the best, but if you're hitting us with 20%, we're going to hit you with the same amount, period, right?
Mhm.
That's the way it should be. And
Or something.
in real fair trade, there would be no fucking tariff at all, and we both be selling each other's fucking goods in each other's countries. You know,
They could. But if we're the ones who are doing most of the buying, then we
yeah,
have the advantage. You know,
correct.
that's when people were saying, China's going to tariff our stuff like 1,000%. I'm like, China
So what?
barely lets us sell anything there. So
So
what? Make
what?
it a million.
Exactly. Yeah.
Make
So
it a
what?
million. Go for it.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling people. Like, so what? Okay. The same shit with Canada, right? They were, oh, but the Canadians are like what? They already fucking milked the shit out of us, right? So what?
Yeah. We
We don't
buy
get the,
more
you know what I'm
stuff
saying?
from them anyway. So who
Yeah.
cares?
Well, so our maple syrup is going to be a little bit more. So what? We'll just get our own maple syrup from Wisconsin. You know what I'm saying? It's just like people
Mm-hmm.
they don't understand what was going on because they don't understand basic economics and they just don't fucking even if they do understand it, the people on the left are just gonna keep saying the same bullshit over and over. You know how it is. Keep saying the same lie over and over and over until fucking everybody starts believing it, you know. So it's mind boggling, man. It's mind-boggling. So like again,
It
it's
is.
today was just tough for me to keep up with everything because starting a new job, I didn't have time to get on the internet to look at anything,
Yeah.
and I get alerts all the time, but I was too busy trying to fucking figure shit out at my new job.
No, I understand. Yeah.
So like I was like shit. Again, he brought some today. The executive order will bring that up now. Something to do with the reduction of drug prices, correct?
Yeah, that's a big one.
You know, so
I mean,
again,
that could be his biggest thing so far.
Yeah, fam, this is again, I'm reading all of this stuff for the first time. So if any of you guys were freaking, are like me today and just weren't keeping up, we're learning this shit together. I heard bits and pieces of this today, but I didn't really get a chance to read anything on it and whatnot. So figured I'd bring it up with you. I figured you're usually way more in tune with shit like first anyway, and Again, I was fucking nowhere to be found today. If you look at it, I didn't post shit on fucking Instagram today.
Yeah.
So,
I
but here
mean,
we go, fam.
there was a really
Okay.
good post that people were sharing. I'm trying to remember who the original one was, but it basically outlined his last like 6 days
Uh-huh.
of like everything Trump did in the last 6 days, whether it was the the India Pakistan ceasefire,
Yeah.
the UK trade deal, now the China trade deal, and then he got the hostage back from Hamas
From
today. Plus,
yeah.
the Afrikaners finally arrived, starting to arrive, from South Africa. And there's some
Yeah.
one or two other things. It
Did
was
you
like,
see the?
dude,
But speaking of the
crazy.
Afrikaners, did you see the footage of them waving American flags and shit like that? It's
Yeah, I
just so
posted it.
different from the fucking other, filth that come in from the southern border. Just as we were doing the last 4 years, just opening the gates and letting them run through and do whatever the fuck they wanted and stuff like that.
I,
It's
I
just.
made that exact same point in when I posted this afternoon, where I was just like,
Mhm.
Look at the difference. It's like there's people. So first of all, they're coming in during the daytime. That's the first difference. It's
Yeah,
like
they're not
they're
being
not being
snuck. They're not being snuck
yeah, they're
into
not being
fucking Republican states and whatnot.
yeah, they're not being flown in the middle of the night in unmarked planes and unmarked vehicles.
Yeah,
Being brought into like hotels and shit like that. No, they're coming in. It's like all out in the open here. And look, these
yeah.
people look genuinely happy to be here. Yeah, they're all
I mean, they're
waving
being
American flags.
listen. They're being persecuted and whatnot, and it's they're the farmers and the ranchers and whatnot.
Yeah.
And when they pull out, I don't know what South Africa's. I'm sure South Africa has uh, South African black ranchers and farmers, but they're the bulk of
They're
the
not the ones
of
getting
their.
genocided.
Yeah, yeah, but they're the bulk. The white Afrikaners are the bulk of the ranchers and the farmers and shit like that. So, if
Yeah.
they start coming and leaving, coming to the United States and leaving in mass droves and stuff like that, let them just become fucking citizens, and we got plenty of land. You can bring your freaking knowledge of agriculture here.
Yeah. I'm
We'll
sure they're
take it.
going to come in. I'm sure they're going to set them up somewhere, but they'll
Absolutely.
probably, if they're all farmers, they're not going to want to be like in some like downtown,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
DC
No,
hotel or something like that. They're going to want
bro,
to be,
yeah.
yeah.
No, go ahead, man.
I'll say they're going to want to, if that farming is a thing, then yeah, they're going to want to get out to, I don't know where, like, somewhere out
Yeah,
in the Carolinas or
yeah.
Georgia or
Everything,
something like
bro.
that,
We
Florida.
have, we are so underdeveloped as a nation when you think about, not in the sense of like we have like third world country underdeveloped, but like there's so much land, okay, for anyone really, Americans as well, to if you're into farming and you're a farmer. It's just we've made it so hard to farm in this country. Okay, we've punished farmers for so long, all right, that fucking think about it, right? Like, you have a family of ranchers or whatever, or a family that has, we'll say fucking, cornfields, okay? And they've been producing corn forever and selling their corn, and it's passed on from one generation. Each generation, it's become more and more expensive for them to do anything. There are more regulations for them to do anything, and then you get hit with the good old fucking death tax when your freaking father or your grandfather decides to hand over the land to you and sign over the farm. So it's like it's insane
Mhm.
what we've done to farming and American farmers in this country. We got to bring it back, man. And this is our opportunity, right? Like this is our opportunity to start making a dent in it. It's not gonna happen overnight. We know that, but this is an opportunity for us to really, really start fucking heading in the right direction. But let's get into this the drug cost thing, because I was like, holy shit. It's like I missed this too. Says Trump, this is from Breitbart. It says Trump takes major action to reduce drug costs for Americans. President Donald Trump's executive order on Monday to reduce drug prices in America to rates similar to what those in other nations pay. Trump signed the order during a press conference in the Roosevelt Room, flanked by Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Senators for Medicare and Medicaid Services Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz, National Institutes of Health Director Dr. J. Bhattacharya. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Bhattacharya.
Bhattacharya. Yeah, Bhattacharya, is it? And Drug Commissioner Dr. Marty McCary. Look, we got a quick 13 seconds we can play.
Here is the Bill. Bobby, come on over here. Now you're talking
He said
about
little Bobby. He called him little Bobby.
He was the most excited.
Thank you very much, everybody.
It froze up, but that was just him signing the what do you call it? I thought he was going to speak. I didn't see that it was a short thing, so he called him little Bobby.
They all got up. RFK Jr. got up. Oz got up. Atari got up. They all had like a few minutes to say things, and they were all very. RFK was definitely the most. He was giddy. Actually, that's the best way to describe his mood. Was giddy
Right.
because he was like. He said something to the effect of, he never thought that he would be able to get up there and say that we got this done. And he wanted, saying, Trump's the greatest, blah blah blah. Um, but he was very excited about it. That it was going to help so many people with these ungodly like medical costs.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's this basic medication that you go to anywhere and it's like for $40, and here it's like $1,000. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible to see. I'm interested to see because it's true, right? Like, for instance, you know, these companies are selling the same drug under a different name, right? Generic name in other countries and whatnot for
Mhm.
fucking just pennies on the dollar compared to how they sell it here in the United States. And, we just eat that cost, right? Like the fucking patient in the United States eats that cost. And they're allowed to do it. So I'm interested to see. I read a little bit more about this. I'm really interested to see how this fucking plays out because we definitely need a break with what do you call it, prescription costs and whatnot, the cost for medicine. So starting today, the United States will no longer subsidize the healthcare of foreign countries, which is what we're doing. Trump said during executive order signing, we were subsidizing others' healthcare countries where they paid a small fraction for the same drug that what we pay many, many times more for, and will no longer tolerate profiteering and price gouging from big pharma. He continued adding that it was actually other countries that forced pharmaceutical companies into this situation. Says the White House fact sheet notes that the order directs Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer to ensure foreign countries are not engaged in practices that purposely and unfairly undercut market prices and drive price hikes in the United States. More of officials will communicate target prices to pharmaceutical producers to garner the best deal for Americans. Says the order also aims to establish a vehicle allowing Americans to purchase drugs at a most favored nation prices from producers directly. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. It further empowers Kennedy to take action if manufacturers do not set prices at a most favored nation level. That's interesting. I'm glad they brought that up. If the drug manufacturers fail to offer most favored nation pricing, the order directs the Secretary of Health and Human Services to one, propose rules that impose most favored nation pricing, and two, take other aggressive measures to significantly reduce the cost of prescription drugs of the American consumer and end anti-competitive practices. Huh. And then Trump predicted the prices will come down between 50 and 80%, and I guess even 90%. So that that
Could be that
that
high.
favorite nation thing is I like that. So essentially they're telling you whatever you sell it the cheapest for to another nation, you got to sell it you got to sell it to us for that as well.
Yeah. Interesting to see how Congress is going to react to it.
Yes.
In terms of
Very
just because we know that most of them are on the big pharma team.
correct. Yeah, they're sucking big pharma cock. They're milking the shit out of the big
Mhm.
pharma for like a long time. Most of them are all rich off of it
But,
and
but they're
whatnot.
stuck because if they got to defend big pharma. But then people were already like speculating how are the Democrats going to defend lower drug prices or
Yeah.
speak
Oh
out
shit,
against them.
they defend everything else that goes against the American population. You know they're gonna defend. They've been bitching forever about drug prices. Now they're forced to defend it. Okay, because they're all on the fucking take. And you know how it is. Anything that Trump does, we're just gonna do the opposite. That's all
They'll
it is.
find
It's just
like they'll find like one or two things that maybe it doesn't cover or something like that. And they'll be
yeah,
like, "See, it's not
yeah,
helping at all."
yeah. They'll bring up medical devices. It has nothing to do with
Mhm.
fucking drug prices.
Yeah,
But like, you see, this medical device wasn't covered in the, it's not helping this person to buy his fucking hearing aids.
Absolutely. That's what they'll
That's what
do.
they'll do.
It's
That's
like
exactly what they
clockwork.
do. Yeah. Yeah. They just, it's great to see. I'm with you on that. I'd like to see how Congress is going to react to it. Uh, because they've been bitching all the time that they have the power of the purse and they're the ones that do this and that, right? Like they're
Right.
supposed to be the ones that come up with shit, but yet they're all sitting on their fucking asses, okay, with their, with sitting on their hands with their thumbs up their asses, and nothing is getting fucking done. Um, you know, it's just bullshit. They're all full of shit. Speaking of nothing getting done, this came up, and maybe you heard something about it. Hey, what's up, Blondie? How are you tonight, hon? Uh, maybe you can tell me. This is from the Epic Times. We've been bitching about Republicans. This
Mhm.
supposedly, they're supposedly on the move with shit. So we will see. Says Republicans release a sweeping tax plan, key component of Trump's agenda. The tax bill includes Trump's campaign promises such as no tax on tips and overtime. It also increases the state and local tax deduction up to 30 grand. Says the House Ways and Means Committee, which manages taxes, released the full 389-page text of the long-awaited multi-trillion-dollar Republican tax plan on May 12th. See, this is again, I didn't see this today. The legislation, which President Donald Trump called the One Big Beautiful Bill, proposes lowering taxes by more than 4 trillion and cutting spending by 1.5 trillion over a decade. It would also raise the federal government's borrowing limit, so they're raising the debt ceiling to 4 trillion. There's the caveat, fam. Ways and Means Republicans have spent 2 years preparing for this moment, and we will deliver for the American people, Committee Chair Jason Smith, Republican from Missouri, said in a statement. Pro family, pro worker tax provisions are the heart of President Trump's economic agenda. Then it goes to say a key aspect of the broader tax agenda is permanently extending the list of lower income tax rates introduced in the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. So I'll read a little bit more in a minute. What do you think so far?
I mean, everybody was highlighting the positive things in here, like the no tax on tips, the no tax on overtime. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Um, but I mean, it's all there. I'm just waiting for the damn vote. Just vote on it already.
Yes,
I don't
because
know if I don't know if they have the votes.
in the Senate, they probably have it in the House, but they don't have it in the Senate. The Senate,
So
you know what? This is a bill that's going to get to the Senate and fucking die. We're going
mhm,
to have all kinds of the usual suspects on the Republican side are going to go
probably.
against, are going to go against it and whatnot. I'll read a little bit more. It says a key. Although the president and House Speaker Mike Johnson previously considered tax hikes for wealthy Americans, the text does not increase the individual income tax rate on affluent earners or introduce the so-called millionaires tax. There it is right there, what the fucking Dems are gonna jump on. Instead, the bill, what do you call it? Well,
Well,
the oligarchy, that's gonna be fucking that dipshit from what do you call it, Vermont. Says instead the bill would permanently keep the 37% top rate for individuals intact. The tax writing committee's bill would allow unincorporated businesses to deduct up to 22% of qualified business income, up from 20%. Additionally, the estate and gift tax exemption is increased to 15 million and will be indexed to inflation. Yeah, they're just for the fact fucking tax gifts, we tax death. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't give shit to anybody without it getting taxed.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. So
I mean,
Bernie Sanders is gonna fucking jump on you see, this is just another fucking for the oligarchy dipshit.
yeah. But the thing
See,
is, you know what? In a way, though, I can. To me, that's not the end of the world. I don't want millionaires to be taxed to death either. You know,
yeah,
as much as people would like to think that, oh, we have to.
no, we
Um,
don't. But
for
yeah, I
one,
agree.
that's socialism, and
Yeah,
two, tell you know, show me a poor person that ever hired somebody.
yeah, yeah. It's true.
I'm sorry.
It's
You
the
don't
it's
you
but
don't you don't make it all better for people because if you start tightening the noose around the neck of the millionaires and the billionaires, guess what? They start cutting they start cutting everything underneath them. it definitely
Right.
trickles down. When people are getting laid off, and they're not investing in new businesses and opening up new things, investing in research and in
Yeah.
development.
Yeah,
It's
but
it.
think about it, bro. Think about it. Millionaires nowadays are small business owners, and they might on paper be millionaires, right? Like
Yeah,
their business might be, let's say, doing $1 million, over $1 million a year. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they themselves are millionaires. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So, and they're the ones that are giving people jobs. Okay, especially the local shop, mom and pop shop that may make $1 million. Okay, on a good year, but that doesn't mean they have $1 million. So a lot of people got it fucking twisted. When they think millionaires, they're thinking of the trust fund babies, the people who grew up in it and stuff like that. But even them, I don't really care if their family built that wealth. Why should I really give a fuck if they're handing it down to the next person who's gonna fucking blow it, right? I don't really give a rat's ass about that. It's not my money anyway. I didn't make it. So like why would I give a shit? But that's what they really think in their head. They think every millionaire is like a trust fund baby who just like mommy and daddy took care of absolutely everything, fucking pay for them to get out of trouble and all. That's what they think when they think millionaires. That's just not the reality of what a millionaire is in this country.
And it just doesn't matter. It's like there's a lot of other ways to increase the taxes, or you should not increase the taxes. We shouldn't be looking to increase the taxes. If
Yeah,
we've learned anything from the last 90 to 100 days, the government is taking too much. Period.
correct.
Period. You shouldn't be trying to take more from any source.
I know. It's a fucking
They're wasting trillions. That doesn't that doesn't mean we should be like looking to increase taxes in any facet of it.
yeah, but again, their answer to everything is let's just take more money. That's their answer to
Yeah.
everything. Let's just take more money. And they always use the term millionaires. Now it's billionaires. Okay.
Mhm.
The Bernie Sanders of the world. See, because he's a millionaire himself with 3, 4 homes. He's flying on private jets all over the place to fucking fight the
Mhm.
oligarchy and whatnot, just throwing up fucking climate change, fucking problems all over flying jets. You know what I'm saying? So it's just bullshit. They're all full of shit. Right? They want to live, they want to do communist things to us while living a capitalist life. They want to benefit from
Mhm.
capitalism while forcing the rest of us to fucking live like dogs. That's what their ultimate goal is because it's all about control. You know how it is with Marxism and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's just insane the amount of fucking taxes that we pay on everything. From the not just the federal, the state level, all the fucking things we
Mhm.
pay taxes on. We just
Oh,
get
yeah.
milked out of absolutely everything, and just we let that happen. We're not fighting. We're not fighting back. We stopped fighting. We used to fight back over this shit. You know what I'm saying? We used to fight. Fuck, we were loud, but we
Man,
haven't done that in
it was
how
a
long? What
long.
about
It's been a
100
long
years?
time.
It's probably been what
It's
about a
been a
hundred
long.
years?
Yeah.
Since we actually fought for this shit. To lower taxes
Mhm.
and whatnot.
Yep.
It's
It's
fucking
been a
amazing,
long
man.
time.
Yeah. Um. It's just amazing. Uh. It looks like Trump is still shaking up the military. I don't know if that
So
like, these are this was like one article right fucking after the next today, man.
yeah.
This
Which
is
one was
like
this from?
this is Trump's military shakeup strengthening national defense. Says this is good. I'm glad they're reporting on this because we need to know this stuff. I mean, I stay up
Mhm.
on it because being a veteran and whatnot, and I understand that it's really since the Vietnam War, it's really been 1% of the population that has been fighting wars, whether we agree with the wars or not. It's just 1% of the
Mhm.
population. So President Trump is shaking up the U.S. military with a series of executive orders and structural reforms. He's still doing it. I love it. Aimed at restoring focus, discipline, and combat readiness. Together with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Trump has moved to eliminate ideological distractions and to reorient the armed forces around warfighting, deterrence, and strength. Keywords warfighting. His
Right.
initiatives excuse me, include reinstating the ban on transgender service members, which the Supreme Court has allowed.
Right.
That happened last week. Eliminating DEI programs from military institutions. He actually did.
Mhm.
There, I saw some stuff on that about the academies getting that taken out like over the last couple of months. Um,
Mhm.
institutions reinstating troops discharged for refusing the COVID-19 vaccine. That's something they've been doing. There's a little hiccup with that. Launching development of an American Iron Dome. I don't know how, if that's going to work. Missile defense system ordering a 20% reduction in four-star generals, restructuring army commands for greater efficiency. I did see there were the reduction in flag officers. I saw that last week actually. Army commands for greater efficiency and propose the largest defense budget in U.S. history to modernize forces, raise pay, and
Yeah.
revitalize the defense industrial base. Yeah, it's raising pay. Good lord, this fucking our military personnel are out there not living well, especially if they have families. It's been an issue for a very very long time.
And
Something that
over
needs
the
to be
weekend too,
addressed.
he announced over the weekend he made that other announcement too about the center for homeless veterans.
Yes, that's right. He was going to take all. They're
Mhm.
taking all that money that was what do you call it? Part of that is they're taking all that money that was given to the illegal aliens, like that was slotted for
Yep.
illegal immigrants. Okay, under the last administration, he took all that shit back, and he's going to use it to help with homeless veterans and stuff. They're looking to one of the big things out of that is they're looking to in LA in Los Angeles. The campus in LA is very big. Okay, it's fucking
Mhm.
huge. It's got acres upon acres of land, and UCLA and some other private fucking entities have been using the land forever, decades now. Okay, and he's about to essentially tell them to go fuck themselves, and he's
Crazy.
going to take UCLA's baseball field is going to go. He probably should just use that field to fucking for veterans to play baseball on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, why not?
Uh, at least that's the talk. I don't know how fast that's going to happen. And then there's some other private entities on that land that should be again. There should be. He wants to build a community for veterans to transition through who are
Mhm.
homeless, have all kinds of financial issues and whatnot to come through, have a place to live, get their shit together, and then move on and whatnot. So like I
That's the way it
I'm
should
all
be.
I'm fucking with that, man.
Yeah,
I'm with that. Fuck UCLA, anybody else who's on, federal land that was already slotted for veterans and it has not been used for veterans for decades. Okay, I
yeah.
don't even know when UCLA built their baseball field on that land. But essentially they were leasing it. I know there was I feel like at the end of last year there was an issue with it. Um UCLA was granted they had to halt I don't think they halted their baseball season. Um but I think that it was almost in jeopardy for them having a home field. Then, of course, the Biden administration let them continue to
Of
use
course.
it because they were getting sued by veterans. It was getting and veterans were like, "Hey, what the fuck, man? Why are they allowed to have this land? We should be having homes and shit like that built on here, temporary homes and stuff." So I saw that. I did see that, and I think that's fantastic. Um, that's something that absolutely needs to get done. uh, we have the again on some of our campuses, these VA campuses, there's a lot of land where they can do this shit. It's not out of reach to do some of this stuff. It's
Yeah,
just having the will to do it. That's the problem.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
you
And there
know,
also one other thing they were doing with the military too. Over the weekend, Pete Hegseth gave an order for all of the military academies to start or not start, but actually just get it done. Remove all divisive language books. So
yes,
basically, all of your CRT shit, all your DEI books, anything related to that,
yep,
remove them from
gone,
all military libraries.
gone, and as it should be, right?
Mhm.
Like we shouldn't even fucking be dealing with that stuff, man. Military personnel. The only thing our military needs to know is how to wreck shit. That's it. It's the only thing they really need to
Yeah,
know is how to fucking wreck shop. That's it. Okay. And look, these are the rules that we're supposed to do it by. Do them with these rules and fucking just learn how to blow everything up and just wreck shop. That's it. The war fighting. Like what I was saying, the whole war fighting ethos thing that has been gone from our military for a long time. Obviously not from everybody in the military, plenty of soldiers who still stuck with it, and but I know right now that recruitment is through the roof in like every
oh,
branch right
yeah,
now. And that started in like January. It just was like in December alone, before he even took office in December, the army was up like it was just astronomical their numbers what they were doing.
Yep.
They literally made up their whole year in December. They were missing
Sure.
all kinds of numbers leading up into December, and December they made up. Well, actually, the new year in the government is October. It starts October 1st. So, but they made up essentially, the previous year's numbers in December. It was insane. It was really,
Yeah.
really insane.
And
Um,
people and the news is just trying to say that that's just a coincidence.
yeah,
Or they're trying to say
it's
it's because of how Biden was handling things at the end of his presidency.
yeah, right, because he's just
Yeah,
a
right.
dipshit.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, he was handling it right, like he was
Yeah.
handling anything.
Yeah. He was handling Biden's cocaine.
Yeah, he was definitely handling his
His
son's
son's
handing out
cocaine.
pardons to people for fucking things going all the way
Mhm.
back to 2014, even though nothing was ever brought on any of these people. Why are you fucking doing that all the way back to 2014? What did these people do
Mhm.
that you have to
And what
pardon them?
happened in 2014?
Yeah, yeah. What happened in
So weird.
2014? But speaking of climate change shit, again, these are things that people don't know. The EPA. Okay, who's that? Lee Zeldin is running the EPA, right?
Yep.
He says EPA targets engine start-stop systems in cars. Start-stop systems exploded under Obama-era rules offering emissions credits, but officials are now signaling a course reversal. The Trump
Mhm.
administration is taking aim at automatic engine startup systems technology installed in millions of U.S. vehicles to reduce fuel use and emissions, with Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Lee Zeldin, call him Zelda, signaling plans to roll back roll back incentives for the feature that he says drivers despise. Start stop technology where your car dies at every red light. Companies get a climate part. I hate it. Have you ever driven
I
one of
hate
those, by
that.
the way? Have you ever
I
driven
have
one of
one.
those? Oh,
Yep.
participation. He says start stop technology where your car dies at every red light so companies get a climate participation trophy. Zeldin wrote in a May 12 post on social media. EPA approved it and everyone hates it, so we're fixing it. That's what's up. Zeldin's announcement comes amid a broader shift under President Donald Trump, whose administration has moved aggressively to dismantle a range of environmental rules that says puts pointless burdens on energy producers, manufacturers, and consumers.
Yeah.
So it says it goes on to say while the EPA doesn't require start-stop systems, it has granted automakers fuel economy credits for adopting this technology. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. He signed over the weekend. Trump also signed an executive. He's been busy.
Yeah,
He also signed an executive order. I cannot. It was one of those wordy executive orders, but essentially what it was it basically was an executive order to stop to basically reverse government regulations that where the purpose was to punish companies.
yeah,
I don't know if that was part of what you just talked about. That might have been part of it. But it definitely was that, like when trying to go after businesses and a lot of times putting
yeah.
them out of business, because the restrictions are so ridiculous. They're trying to roll back a lot of that.
Yeah, the restrictions that go again, like it said in the article, go back to Obama, has
Mhm.
been it's been absolutely ridiculous. And
Mhm.
I think Trump was rolling some of that back during his first term, and obviously he didn't have enough time to finish
Nobody
what he was
started
doing
it.
and whatnot. Yeah, but
He was his motto or his mandate from his first term was for every new regulation, he wanted 10 previous regulations rolled
yeah,
out.
I remember that. He was
And
very adamant about that.
and supposedly he was doing it too. They were keeping up with it. They rolled back a ton of shit.
They were. They were doing a lot of good stuff. It's one of the reasons why business, exploded under the last time, and it's gonna happen again. Bro, we're not even what 4 months in. What are we? 4 months in? Yeah,
Just
yeah, we're
about.
going on 4 months. Next week will be 4 months, right? The 20th.
Hmm.
That's just insane, man. They've been moving at light speed, and that's the way it should be. He's keeping everybody on their fucking toes. Now, I know we read an article just recently about Republicans getting this whole tax thing together There's plenty of other shit. They should just be firing this stuff off to the Senate. And even if it dies in the Senate, at least we know in the Senate who's fucking killing it, especially what Republicans, the usual suspects, with the additions of the occasional Rand Paul will jump on because he's a never Trumper and fucking help them out with some bullshit. Uh, I still like the fact that he got a fucking big fuck you uh, recently and stuff like that. And JD Vance was able to come in and be a
Oh yeah, for
tiebreak
that
on some
bill. I'm trying
shit.
to remember what
Yeah.
that was.
It had to do with the tariffs, especially with the Canadians and and Chinese.
Oh yeah, they were trying to limit the president's ability to even implement tariffs. He had to
Right.
go through Congress to
Yeah.
appreciate it didn't pass. It's like, womp
Right. It
womp.
wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't even gonna go. It wasn't even gonna make it to make it out of the House if it left the Senate, but it didn't even really leave the fucking Senate. It's just he did get a womp womp
Yeah,
and shit.
didn't even make. Yeah, didn't make it happen. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's good shit, man. Um, bro, did you see how that narrative just fucking crumbled with the idiots over at what do you call it? At the Newark Ice over the weekend, people just kept dropping videos, just more footage after,
Did you
people
see
talking
them
about.
today? They were out. Dude, they were out there again today. You didn't? Did you see that?
I heard that they were blocking this time, right? I
They
think
were
they blocked.
blocking.
Go
They were
ahead, go ahead.
blocking, and they had about 15 people singing and blocking the entrance. And
Okay.
then I had posted another video where there was this woman over there. She was basically they were bringing like a van of illegals or criminals that they had brought in, and she was
Yeah,
holding up the love sign. It's like, oh my god, these people are insane.
yeah. Here's some footage of it right here, man. This just again, I'm fucking behind the times today, so.
So let's tell this administration we want some truth. We want some sunlight. We want to know who is in the building behind us. The legal
Bro had a
system
sign that
has a
said
right
from
to
deserve to
Palestine to
know.
Mexico.
Their families have a right to know that information, and Americans
No, you
believe
don't.
in due process. We want due process. This is not the country anyone has asked for, and we will not stop, we will not stand until justice is the rule of the land.
These motherfuckers with justice, man.
Just
Justice. They're just fucking. From what I understand, I'm going to read a little bit of this article because that was just showing them blocking. It said that the leftists create a human chain, block multiple emergency vehicles from entering Newark ICE facility. So on Monday, far left faith leaders, whatever, not really faith leaders if they're on the far left, blocked the gates at the same Newark detention facility where New Jersey Democrats got into a violent confrontation. We're going to play that in a little bit with ICE agents. The leftists created a human chain and blocked emergency vehicles from entering Delaney Hall facility, and they were ready to get arrested for obstructing agents. I hope they arrested some of them. I don't really give a shit if they call themselves faith leaders. The
I
faith
don't know if
leader
they arrested anything today.
says the faith leaders said they are ready to be arrested for their cause. They are proudly fighting to release some of the world's most dangerous criminal aliens. Shut down this facility, they shouted. It's fucking morons, man. Says emergency vehicles could not get past the gates. On Friday, they arrested the mayor. We talked about that on Friday. And then Congress members got into an altercation. Yeah, video footage of that shit right here. Just this is the altercation that these fucking people are nuts, man. Look at that's the one that kept saying that she didn't touch anybody. Here she is
Oh, the one in the
assaulting a
red.
fucking cop. Yeah.
Yep. I hope they haven't arrested her. They keep talking about it. They need to.
Yeah. They can't let this shit fucking slide.
Don't let it. Don't let
Notice
it go.
she just hit a cop from behind, man. Like you just can't let that shit slide, man. You can't let that
You know
you
what
just can't let
You
that.
know what I don't understand? I don't understand why they like I get it. This happened under Trump's first term.
Yeah.
This is nothing new. Anywhere
No,
there was
this
a
is
federal building, they like in places like Philadelphia and Portland and Seattle, they
especially
were
Portland. They were lighting them
yeah,
motherfuckers on fire.
they were right they were outside the buildings. At minimum they were protesting. You know, during the worst times they were actually rioting, trying to get
Right.
in. Um I don't understand why they even just dude, just if you're rounding up all these people, you know, after a good day's work,
Yeah,
take a drive out to some other facility. Maybe you go
yeah.
across the border to another state,
Oh, wait a
you
minute.
know?
It looks this is I don't know if this was from the other day. There's another article, bro. It says leftist protesters arrested after violent clash with law enforcement.
Where
Huh. I guess they did
was that?
arrest some. Oh, here, this is from today, bro. We were talking about that. I mean, do this, do this. Yeah, we were just talking about. We just showed the so-called faith leaders, right, coming together. I
Mhm.
guess they did hem some of them up, man.
Is this in New Jersey?
Yeah, yeah. This is in New Jersey. Here, this is
Oh,
this article is from the Gateway Pundit. It dropped at 6:40 today.
that's why I missed it.
Yeah, again, I missed everything today. I'm gonna probably miss everything all week. Leftist protesters arrested after violent clash with law enforcement at Newark ICE facility. Far left protesters blocking the gates at Delaney Hall, ICE facility in Newark, New Jersey, were arrested after a violent clash with police on Monday. As TGB reported earlier, far left faith leaders created a human chain and blocked emergency vehicles from entering. Chaos erupted at the ICE detention facility after law enforcement asked the protesters to leave the property. Police cuffed protesters for obstructing the entrance to the facility and refusing to leave. So here's some more.
We're all immigrants here.
Yeah, we're all immigrants here.
Anything else you want to say before you go away? Are you bringing her? Yes. Okay. Back off. Let all the immigrants free.
I just want to see people get fucking nailed. They're just like fucking holy shit, man. It's amazing, okay? It's amazing, bro, how out of their fucking mind these people are, man. They just we'll break the law, we'll do whatever we want. Canadian Black MAGA, what is going on, brother? We will have Canadian Black MAGA will be on the show on Friday, and we will be getting into Canadian politics. He's gonna freaking bring us up to speed on what's going down in his country. So we got patriot cousins up there too. We had them from across the pond. We gotta take care of our patriot cousins from north of the border, man,
Absolutely. Yeah.
as well, because we got people fighting up there too. Many of them love their country, and they've seen what has happened and what's going to continue to happen after this last election. Unfortunately, uh, we covered those elections on a Monday night. Myself and
Mhm.
Red Day. Sorry, my ticker accidentally hit it. If you're
Right.
just joining us, myself and Red Day, we've gone through a bunch of stuff. I have been out of the news cycle all day today. And probably going to be out of it the whole rest of the week. Starting at a new place for work, so it's probably going to be a freaking. I'm just going to be out of it, uh, and whatnot. So, if you're just joining us, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Don't forget to sign up for our Discord. We got movie nights coming up. We got one coming up on Saturday. As I said earlier, okay, Rogue Nina, you get the pick because you've been like hanging. You've just been a trooper through this and everything. You've been with us so far every night. I wasn't at the last one because I had family come in, but Rogue Nina and Jonathan were hanging together. So Rogue Nina, you get to pick it. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a buy me a coffee link that's pinned at the top of both chats for both Rumble and YouTube. And please look into picking up Stars and Stripes Coffee, who is a sponsor of the show. Great tasting blends they have. I've already had some of it. Um, I actually like percolated coffee instead of the K cups and whatnot. I just gotten used to drinking K cups, so the first time in a while that I had some percolated coffee, um, and whatnot. So it's really good stuff. There is a link for my sponsor in the description along with my coupon code. It should be automatically placed in there if you go to buy something. But in case you haven't, it's been going across on the ticker um, below. So, these crazy nuts, doing this shit at Newark, this is something that they've been doing for a very long time. It is right out of the playbooks, uh, the Marxist playbooks. Yeah, it's all right. Conserve reality. It's all good. I couldn't even make it because I had my younger brother came into town. so I couldn't make the last one. He surprised me, so don't worry about it, man. We'll have another one. Like I said, come Saturday, we're gonna have another one. And once again, we will have the Canadian Black Maggot hanging with us on Friday, talking all things Canada with us, so he can bring us up to speed on what's going on, the fight that's still going on, because his people are going to continue to fight up there in Canada. We need them to continue to fight, right? Because the stuff that goes on in Canada, believe it or not, at some point affects us too in the same hemisphere. Uh,
Those-
it really does. So it's why myself and Red Day, yeah, well, you guys know we're all about America first. We're all about making sure we take care of the problems here in the United States, but we try to stay on top of what's going on around the world too and bring it to you. We try our best to do that, but there's so much shit we have to fix here that it's kind of hard sometimes. But when we have something interesting, we bring it to you, which is why we covered the Canadian election on a Monday night.
Yeah, well, they just got
Uh,
jobbed in their last election too. So
yeah, no, that just sucks what happened up in Canada. And of course, like we said, the next day they were all blame the Canadian press was blaming it all on Trump. It's insane. Some Canadian conservatives were too. I heard them on social media, but most freaking Canadian conservatives weren't buying that shit. Yes, Jonathan, if you could put a poll in the Discord, but if Rognina, if you have a movie you want to watch, just drop it in the chat. You get the pick. Uh, Conserve, what are you checking on? Just check the names of the Republicans. It still hasn't generated me an answer yet. I only have one name, which is Mike Turner, possibly voting nay. What was that for? What is he checking? What is he checking for, bro? You lose your sound?
you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
What is Conserve checking for you?
I have no idea.
He says, Patriot Daywalker, do you have the names of the two Republicans in Congress that voted nay to allow the activist judges to continue their shtick?
I didn't look it
Was there
up.
some vote that was going on? What
There
did I
was a
miss?
vote that
Something else
happened.
today?
There was another vote today.
Okay.
Let's see if I got it here on my phone. It was about the activist judges, and it passed the House.
Okay.
Um, but I did not look to see. I did not look to see who actually voted no. I can only imagine who voted no.
This is in the House of Representatives, right? Not the Senate.
Yes, yeah, they won 218 to 214.
Well, you know every
HR
single
bill HR 1526.
well, you know every single Democrat was going to vote no.
Yeah, every Democrat did vote no. There was two Republicans that voted no. So they passed it
Right.
by 4 votes.
Huh.
Two people. Let
That's
me guess.
crazy.
I'm gonna guess Rand Paul.
In the Senate?
Oh no, he's in the Senate. That's right.
Yeah, he's in the
Um,
Senate.
trying to think who the reps. Maybe Massey.
Do you think Massey?
Maybe Thomas Massey. And who else would have the nerve?
Yeah, we know. Yeah. So Conserve says, like I said, we know that every Democrat, so all Democrats voted nay and two Republicans voted nay. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see which Republicans. It wouldn't surprise me if Thomas Massey was up in there. I know the Libertarians dick ride him and stuff like that, but he's another never Trumper. By the way, he's had some good arguments on stuff. It's not like he doesn't have good arguments and shit like that, right?
Oh, he's not. Yeah, he's not a complete moron. But the thing is that he
Yeah,
just. It's like the things that people like him and Rand Paul choose to like die. The hills they choose
I
to
know.
die on. They're just like, come on,
Yeah,
guys, really.
yeah,
There's other things other fish to fry. There's bigger issues to deal with, and it's like if we just get some of this shit done, do you understand it's going to be better for you?
yeah.
This is what everybody wants.
I know. But when they're like in the pockets of so Jonathan says that no Rogue Rulings Act passed the House with a 219 to 213 vote, with Representative Michael Turner being the sole Republican to join all Democrats in opposing the legislation.
He's the only one.
Yeah, that's what.
Also, there's only one. Also, there's only one
but
Republican that defected.
y-
I thought it was
yeah,
two.
yeah. Cause said it was two. Jonathan said it was
It
only
shows
one.
two.
Which is
I have I have the graphic in front of me. It says two Republicans said no.
yeah. We gotta find out. Conserv says
It
he's
was
getting a bunch of different info too.
218.
Between
Yes.
I'm yeah, I'm positive between Conserv and what do you call it?
Mm.
Oh, hang on. Update says Norcross of New Jersey did a no vote. So I don't even know does anybody know who the fuck Norcross is?
Norcross.
Yeah, I don't even know who the fuck he is.
Never heard of Norcross. Is that you mean a Democrat or a Republican?
It's got to be a Republican because he said he voted no. So it's got to be Turner and Norcross. I don't even know. I've never even heard of this dude. Oh, Norcross is a Dem. Sorry.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, do they have any Republicans from New Jersey?
Are there any Republicans left in New Jersey? Uh, obviously
I
they
don't
are
know.
because Trump just
I mean,
lost
I
it
know
by
New York has
5%.
like one or two.
Yeah,
Well, that's the thing. The people will vote for Trump, but then they won't fucking vote red in the other elections. It's like ridiculous.
it's the split voting thing is just the dumbest thing. I've never heard of that. It's just to me anywhere that people do that is just like, how are you going to vote for
Mm,
Trump and then not give him the workhorses to fucking
yeah,
to get the job done for
no
you?
idea. I don't even think people understand how shit gets.
Yeah. Yeah, they just again, they vote on personality and shit like that.
Mhm. And I mean, the thing is, there's not that many members of Congress that actually pay attention and are
Right.
dealing with a lot of like local shit.
Right.
You might think that they're representing you in Congress. They're not representing your county, or you're part of the city or whatever. They're not representing. That's what your local people are for. Your state
Right.
reps. They're the ones that are there. Like, but they seem to apply that logic to, like, anybody. You know, AOC, everybody. They don't. How much time do you see them spending in their own district? Hardly at all.
I know over the weekend they were fucking New Yorkers were bitching about that, but then they'll vote her fucking back in, right?
But they'll vote her back in. Yeah. They,
They can't help
and
themselves.
yeah,
They just can't help themselves. All
it's a
right,
mess.
so Mike Turner from Ohio, and that's it. Mike Turner was the only Republican. The other vote was what do you call it? Essentially from New Jersey.
But that would have just fallen into the mass of
Yeah, no,
Democrats that didn't vote for it.
yeah, it wasn't a no, it was a no vote. Rather, he didn't vote. So it still ended up being a no, right? It's not
He's
voting is a no. Um,
yeah.
so that's what it was. So only one Republican.
Mhm.
The other one was what do you call it? A no vote. Excuse me, sneezed.
HR one.
Yeah, yeah, Mike Turner. That doesn't surprise me. I know who Mike Turner is. He's fucking man. It's just frustrating. What was the did he have a reason behind voting no, Mike Turner, or just to fucking be a dick?
Well, here it is. According to GovTrack, there was only one. Yes, this is the one. Who knows what that other graphic
Yeah,
was that showed
I'm
that people
looking
were
at the
sharing.
I'm looking
It only
actually
says
looking at
one.
the I'm actually looking at the Office of the Clerk, U.S. House of
Mhm.
Representatives. Jonathan put the link in the what do you call it in the chat, so I just pulled that up and took a
Yeah.
look at it. Yeah,
Well, I mean, as long as it's there, it's only yeah. So again, well, that's even better. Only one Republican said no.
yeah,
Good. It's the fucking way it should be. Don't
yeah.
no more than one.
Now let's see what let's Republicans in the Senate or the usual suspects, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, it's the usual suspects that they're gonna all vote no. Every single Democrat's gonna vote no. They need the activist judges to continue to do the bullshit that they do. Okay, uh, that's what they need, right? To
Yeah.
keep the fucking trash happening and whatnot. It's just fucking. It's such a shitty game, man, that they
Remember,
play.
remember that? Remember the guy that went to El Salvador
Oh yeah, yeah.
that tried to,
The fucking the senator from Maryland, the
yeah.
douche, and then he had like a whole bunch of people follow after him.
Did you see what he said today?
No, what did he say now?
He spoke out against. I mean, you could almost see it coming.
What did they
He
do?
spoke. He
He
spoke
spoke.
out against the Afrikaners arriving,
Huh.
saying that they don't need help. They shouldn't be considered refugees. They don't need help coming here.
Fucking scumbag, man.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Just for that, we're gonna watch the fucking Afrikaners right now.
Mhm.
Fuck him and the fucking goats he came in on. Look at this, fam. Look, this is the difference, okay? From the last administration to this administration. They're all waving American flags, and you know something that you notice in there too? Actual women and children, okay?
Yes, that too.
Not fighting age fucking men, actual women and children. And the men that you see there, you don't see them, they're not all tatted up with gang tats and all that other stuff. You don't have to worry about any of that shit. They're actual fathers with their fucking families and whatnot. That's not even, that's nothing, man. That is just a handful of people, okay?
I was just 40.
Yeah, the amount of people that are fucking actually being persecuted and whatnot. It's just crazy, man.
This is my friend Troy.
I'm gonna keep that on mute so that people could just watch because they're not really
Yeah,
talking.
it's a big difference. What happened? Remember last year? What's the alternative? You have those idiots who are screaming on social media, "Mi gente,
Yeah,
take people's homes. We're not
yeah,
going anywhere." Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. We're supposed to
Yeah.
get behind that. Yeah. Okay.
You had that one dude that ended up getting fucking deported. That he was a
Deported
squatter,
anyway.
telling people how
Yeah.
to squat and everything to get people's homes, and he
Yeah.
ended up getting his ass fucking tossed. And was
He got
the
his
look on
ass.
his
And tell you this, he got his ass tossed, and Biden was still president.
yeah. Actually,
Okay,
he
can't
got
blame
picked
that on
up.
Trump, wasn't it?
Yeah, he actually got picked up towards the end of Biden's administration. He got tossed under Trump.
Okay, but
Yeah,
he was
so
already
yes,
detained.
he did get picked up.
How do
He
you
did get
get
picked up.
detained under Biden's
I
presidency?
that doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make
That's
any sense
That's
whatsoever,
what a
man.
dumb fuck he was.
Yeah, it
It's
just
like,
think
dude,
about how fucking stupid he is. Because then he was making social media fucking flicks about, he was crying and all that other shit, how they want to take everything from
uh-huh.
him and he's gonna get sent back and all this other shit. And I was like, yeah, good, motherfucker. Fuck you. You're done. The bullshit, we're done with the bullshit. I know, it was
So
just
dumb.
great, man.
He deserved it.
These fools are just something else, man.
Yeah.
Um, You know what? I think we got some video footage. We were talking about what RFK. You said RFK stood up and talked, right?
Oh yeah, he was gushing.
Yeah,
Yeah, he have.
yeah. Just waiting for these
I
freaking
love these ads.
stupid. I'm waiting for these stupid freaking ads to go by. Here we go. This is Trump, and Trump is talking too, actually. So that's good. Make sure that I have the right one. Yep.
United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries, which is what we were doing. We're subsidizing others' health care. Countries where they paid a small fraction of what for the same drug that what we pay many times more for.
I read his remarks.
And we'll no longer tolerate profiteering and price gouging from Big Pharma. But again, it was really the countries that forced Big Pharma to do things that, frankly, I'm not sure they really felt comfortable doing. But they've gotten away with it, these countries. European Union has been brutal.
Yep.
So for the first time in many years, we'll slash the cost of prescription drugs, and we will bring fairness to America. Drug prices will come down by much more, really, if you think. 59, if you think of a drug that is sometimes
is
10 times more expensive, it's much more than 59%. It depends on the way you want to analyze it, but in one way you could analyze it that way. But between 59 and 80, and I guess even 90%.
He's just so fucking orange, man. Dude, it's fucking hilarious. Here's what do you call it? Okay, we're gonna get
Do you
ads.
owe
Of
over
course we're gonna get
$10,000
ads.
in back taxes? Kevin
ads,
Sorbo
man.
here with an important message. The Biden administration has
taxes.
proposed an $80 billion plan to boost IRS collection. This means
How to protect your precious family photos
Yeah,
from these
I hate
5
this stuff.
common dangers.
I
No
gotta
tech
find
skills
I gotta
required.
Find a good ad
These
blocker, man.
This is an extraordinary day. This is an issue that, I grew up in the Democratic Party, and every major Democratic leader for 20 years has been making this promise to the American people. This was the fulcrum of Bernie Sanders' runs for presidency, that he was going to eliminate this
I like how he threw
discrepancy
Bernie out there.
between Europe and the United States.
Rolled him under a
But
fucking
as it
bus.
turns out, none of them were doing it. It's one of these promises that politicians make to their constituents, knowing that they'll never have to do it. And the reason they'll never have to do it is because they know that Congress is controlled in so many ways by the pharmaceutical industry. There's at least one pharmaceutical lobbyist for every congressman, every senator in
brother?
Capitol Hill, and every member of the
Throwing
Supreme
everybody
Court.
under the bus.
By some estimates,
Yeah, he's
3.
just everybody's getting it.
Pharmaceutical
threw him in
companies,
like on a
the
fucking
industry
New York City
itself
subway,
spends
right in front of
3
a train.
times what the next largest lobbyist spends on lobbying. So this was an issue that talked about, but nobody wanted to do anything because it was radioactive. They knew you couldn't get it by Congress. We now have a president who is a man of his word, who has the courage. President Trump was taking money from the pharmaceutical industry. I think they gave you $100 million. But he can't be bought, unlike most of the politicians in this country. And
I'm
he
glad
is
he admitted
standing
that, by
here
the
for
way.
the American people. There has never
You know
been a
that?
president
is.
I mean, we
more
knew this.
willing
We knew it, but I'm
to
glad you
stand
just
up to
admitted
the
it right there.
oligarchs than President Donald Trump. And I'm very, very proud of you, Mr. President, for your courage, I'll say, because I don't want to be crude, your intestinal fortitude, your stiff spine, and your willingness to stand up for the American people. We have 4.2% of the world's population. Our country represents 75% of the revenues for pharmaceutical companies. We spend in our country $1,126 per capita on drugs. In Britain, they spend about $240. They spend
insane,
1/5 of what we do. And this is true across Europe.
It's insane.
And the drug companies, Europeans, if you ask them, it made no sense what they were saying. Well, America has to pay for this innovation.
I just gotta hit pause real quick so we don't get fucking copyrighted, and then I'll finish playing it. It's got like another minute left. Think about how the insanity. If you're just joining us, we talked about this earlier, but we got to hear there wasn't any video on RFK Jr.'s talking about it, so I wanted to make sure that you guys got a chance to see that. But think about that, man. About how fucking we're just getting raked over the coals, man. We get raked over the coals. This gap on everything with the rest of the world has to come to an end. And this man, President Trump, is trying desperately, to fucking shutter that gap. He's trying desperately, and we get these morons on both sides of the aisle that are just trying to stop him. And they just, again, like you were saying earlier, right? Rand Paul and Thomas Massey find these dumb fucking hills that they want to die on, and it's just like, bro, like, what the fuck? It's just insane, man.
Yeah.
We'll just finish up with him. He's got like another minute.
Sure, it's not going to happen. What President Trump is saying to our European partners is you got to raise the amount that you're paying for those drugs and pay for your share of the innovation. That the United States is no longer subsidizing that. If the Europeans raise the price of their drugs by just 20%, that is $10 trillion that can be spent on innovation, and the health of all people all across the globe is going to increase because we're going to have better products. So I'm just so grateful to be here today. I never thought that this would happen in my lifetime. I have a couple of kids who are Democrats, are big Bernie Sanders fans, and when I told them that this was going to happen, they had tears in their eyes. because they thought this is never going to happen in our lifetime. And we finally have a
He even
president
threw his
who's willing
kids
to
under the
stand
bus,
up for
bro.
the American people.
Bro, he even threw his kids under the fucking bus,
So I
man.
told you he was gushing. He was like
Yeah.
he was making it sound like he just won the lottery.
Yeah, man. I mean, think about it. Think about we talked about with Cozy on Friday, right? About he understands the fight that, RFK's had forever. This is one of the
Mhm.
fights in the many fights that he's had. And like we said, we don't agree with him in a lot of political shit, okay, when it comes to politics. But there are definitely this whole thing we're trying to make America healthy again is an initiative that I will be on board 100%, man. And this is part of it, right? Like, this is something we got to see. I like the whole like what we were saying earlier about the pick your favorite chin price. Okay, you get to do that. So whatever the lowest price is, that's what you essentially got to give it to us for. Whatever you're giving it to somebody else, the lowest price. So um, it's good stuff, man. It's good stuff, and I
Wow,
like
so what a
that.
week.
Yeah, it's and this is the beginning of the week. But by Friday, okay,
Yeah.
when we have fucking when we have Canadian Black MAGA on, it's gonna be what the hell? We're gonna be talking about Canada, and I'm sure there's gonna be shit going on there too that we can talk about. It's one thing right after the other, just firing off. It never stops with this administration, and this is how I like things to be. I see you post all the time when you post to something. Yep, I voted for this. Okay, when it's just the next thing. Yep, I voted for this. I'm
Mhm.
with you 100%, man. This is what we voted for. This is what we wanted.
Yep.
Um, General Mills, who is also Canadian Black MAGA, when I said I'm sure there's a whole bunch of shit going on in Canada, says massive shit. Well, you got to let me know, man. You got to send me on Instagram. Send me a pic. I got your email. Send me a pic, brother, so I can make a thumbnail out of it. And then I like the one you have for General Mills. You gotta let me know if you want me to put you on as Canadian Black MAGA or General Mills, bro. When I put you in the thumbnail and stuff like that, because I know everybody knows you on Instagram and YouTube as Canadian Black MAGA. But yeah, bro, it's just one thing right after the other, man. One thing right
Mhm.
after the other. It's the way it should be. But what has to happen that isn't happening, and I mean, we just read something recently. All right, Canadian Black MAGA, brother, I got you. Uh, is this thing with the taxes, right? Like, okay, we're
Mhm.
finally getting some movement on something, right? But it's still, to me, it's still not enough. He has done so much stuff with executive orders in 4 months
Mhm.
that there should be one bill fired right after the other. There shouldn't be anything that isn't at least in the Senate, right? So at least we know it's the Senate that's holding this shit up yet again because that's what they do. The Democrats, they hold everything up, and the usual suspect Republicans.
You
And
probably didn't
Rognina
see what I
says,
posted this morning.
yeah,
There
probably.
was
I'm
a
pretty sure I missed it,
there,
man.
there was an article that said that I guess they did the count. They said that this is basically this Congress has sent the most number of bills to the president
Holy
in
fuck, man.
about 70 years. I think that was the number. 70
Holy
years.
fuck, man.
There you go.
Now, is that in a 120-day period?
It's within like the first 100 days, I think.
Okay. Yeah, but that makes sense, man.
Yep.
We've been bitching
Fewest.
about that and complaining.
Yeah. So it's not just like it wasn't just a feeling, it was reality.
Yeah. Yeah. We do. Again, you're right. We weren't just feeling it. Well, bro, you and I are constantly trying to stay on top of that shit. We're paying attention to what's going on, and we've been bitching about it for months now, right? For at least 2 months, we've been like, what the fuck? Why hasn't anything gotten at least to the Senate? Um,
Hardly anything.
yeah.
Hardly
And
anything.
yeah, Rogue Nina says, with all the patents our taxpayer dollars have funded and others profit off of, that shit needs to be taken back and given to the people. That would help lower drug prices too and much more. Uh, one of the other things too, right, that people don't realize is that the socialized medicine stops innovation as well. They didn't talk about it in the clip. So when you're paying fucking 60-70% for all the welfare that you're giving your people in your country, including medical, okay, um, that takes away innovation. right? So you don't have the money, all right? Companies don't have the money because it's companies and colleges and shit like that that actually do the
Mhm.
innovation, with new freaking research and stuff like that. So it's not even just with medicine, it's with medical devices. It's one of the reasons why one of the fucking things that came out of the global war on terrorism, as horrible as it is prosthetics, right? Like it just fucking, the
Yeah.
change in prosthetics was almost immediate with the things that they were doing to get out to veterans of war with catastrophic injuries and stuff like that. So prosthetics fucking changed considerably. In Vietnam, it was a cardiology. The things that these doctors were doing to save people. Okay,
Mhm.
in Vietnam, all right, at China Beach, places like China Beach and shit like that. Okay, it was just remarkable. So medicine always changes, obviously, when we have war because depending on the nature of the war, things change. But when you have socialized medicine, innovation goes away. Okay, because there's no money for innovation because you're paying so much into not only giving people free Medicare, but you're also giving
Oh,
them in many cases free school, free this, free that. So it's like it's compiled onto that.
you know what I hope we can talk to Black MAGA about? Because I don't think enough people here in the States hear about. But I'd love to hear how bad Canadian medicine is, healthcare,
I would love to hear that too.
because
I mean, I've heard
all I ever
stories.
hear from all I ever hear from people is, "Oh, we need to have a healthcare like Canada. It's free.
Yeah, yeah.
We should have that here."
Well, now it's Canada. Remember, for the longest time, is because they were listening to fat bastards like Michael Moore. We need Medicare like Cuba, and then
Hmm.
they would show you the medicine in a tourist area in fucking Havana, okay, and how fantastic it is for tourists. But they didn't show you that up in the fucking El Campo in the mountains and shit, okay, that fucking there is no Medicare, okay. You go to a clinic in the mountains and there's like nothing. You can't get anything done. They
Yeah,
ramp it
they
up
show
for
you
tourists and
Medicare.
stuff like that.
Yeah, Medicare for like Castro's great grandson or something like that.
Yeah. No, in particular, General Mills says shit's not free. It is true, man. Or your
Hmm.
taxes, it's true.
That's what they.
Um,
That's what they think, though. Here, that's what they think. It's
you
free.
you you are absolutely correct, General Mills. It is not free. All your tax dollars up there are going to just socialize medicine, but every other fucking gimmick, socialist gimmick they have going on. We have a bit of that problem here in the United States. Is we can't deny that we don't. Entitlements is nobody's. It's a fucking third rail of politics. Entitlements in the military. That's the two things that are the two third rails. Let's see. General Mills, who's also a Canadian Black MAGA, says we pay for benefits to get when you're on assistance. You get it for okay. So what he's saying is, uh, they pay for the benefits, okay, but if you're on public assistance, you get it for free. It's like that here too, man. Our welfare, Medicaid is just like that too. It was even worse. That's the one thing I will give Clinton fucking props on, and it's half-ass props because he signed this fucking bill, kicking and screaming. They had to drag him in to fucking sign it. All right, and
Mhm.
Newt Gingrich was able to get it fucking through the House and passed through the Senate. To Bill Clinton was the welfare reform. Okay,
Newt
what are you laughing
Gingrich.
at, bro? What'd you say?
Newt.
Yeah, I
Newt.
know it's true. Okay, we got to give credit where credit is due, right? It's a throwback, Newt Gingrich, man.
It's a blast
um,
name from the past.
it is a blast from the past, man.
I think you're gonna throw
And
out something that Bob Dole did.
yes, true. And he signed it, kicking and they pulled him in there, kicking and screaming, but he signed it, okay. And one of the things that it helped, right? It made it. There were parameters you had to meet, right? And you didn't
Mhm.
have welfare for life. Okay, there was like a 5-year limit. Okay, there literally was like a 5-year limit. If you were a single mom, if you were a young mom, you had to go to school. There were just things you had to do, benchmarks you had to make. Okay, meet. And for one, to get it to continue a little bit longer. Okay, and two, to get you to the point where they were going to take it off away from you anyway. And then, of course, once Obama came in, he got rid of the work requirement, and that fucking sent us backwards. The work requirement was there for a reason. It was actually lifting people out of fucking poverty because they were being forced to go uh, actually get real jobs and actually using it to get their educations, okay, and
Oh,
go
yeah.
get real jobs and shit like that. That just went backwards to Obama. Uh, a maid program. Wait, 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 wait. I know about the wait, hold up, stop. I know about the fucking assisted offing. There's a maid program going on up in Canada too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what they love. They love it up there.
I didn't know
They don't
that
want
shit. Okay, I just learned. All right, fam. I just learned something new today. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't, and you can't get your you can't get an MRI, you can't get a life-saving surgery, but they'll kill you on the cheap.
Yeah, I believe you, General Mills, bro. You're living it, man. So I believe if you telling me that that shit exists, I believe you. You know, I think of fucking maids. I think of anime. Fucking maid cafe. Yeah, the assisted offing is fucking something that I don't know, man. I just think about how just think about that, man.
No,
Yeah. It's just
it's insane.
I'll never fathom that. That you'll never get me to understand that. Um
Take all your
I don't
tax.
know.
Like you said, it's not free. You're paying all this money in taxes
Correct.
for the healthcare, but
Correct.
they don't want to give you the healthcare, but they'll help kill
Uh,
you. Thanks for
General Mills,
thanks for the money and have a good day.
what is the total, you don't have to say yours in particular. What is the total on average taxation in Canada right now? If you don't mind fucking dropping some more knowledge on us. Well, we're gonna get into it on Friday some more. Dying aka made. Wow. Huh. Okay, I see it. I understand it now. Thanks, Jonathan. Medical assistance in dying aka made. Thank you. Because I was like, what? Maids? You get a fucking maid too? All right, there you go, fam. I was thinking a fucking maid cafe from like an anime cartoon. uh thanks for what do you call it, schooling me on that. I appreciate that. That shit is wow. That's amazing, man. That is just absolutely fucking amazing. All right, man. All right, so on Friday, um, General Mills, Canadian Black MAGA, is gonna be with us. He's gonna bring us up to speed on what's going on up in Canada, and he's gonna let us know about the taxes and shit and whatnot. So we just played fucking where is she, man? All right, so we just played a little bit of the Afrikaners hanging, and this is this is the Democrat response, the typical racist shit, because they're a bunch of
Oh, is it
the
that
you know
black?
the
Is it
black.
that black girl from MSNBC?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, they do. They're not. Yo, where? What lie is being told?
No lies told.
Yeah, it's full of shit.
Bullshit.
So full of
Bullshit.
shit, man.
I'm told. By who?
I'm told
By
by who?
who?
By who? Who fucking told
I'm
you?
told. You're a fucking
Yeah,
news organization. I'm
yeah,
told.
yeah. Who
My
told
my
you?
my man told me. Fucking
It's
twerp.
amazing, man.
He's so full
Oh,
of shit.
whoa, wait a minute. Yeah. Look at this. Did you see this, bro? Again, I'm
Probably.
fucking all over the place today, guys. I'm just gonna keep
Which one
bringing
is
it
that?
as it comes up. Did this shit. Says huge win. Federal judge gives green light for IRS to share illegal immigrants' tax data with ICE.
Oh yes.
A federal
That
judge
happened this
in Washington.
afternoon.
Bro, this was in DC at that. So a federal judge in DC has denied a motion by far left immigrant advocacy groups seeking to block the Internal Revenue Service from sharing taxpayer information with Immigration and Customs Enforcement for the purpose of locating and removing illegal immigrants. Judge Dabney L. Frederick, appointed by President Trump, ruled on Monday that the IRS is legally authorized under federal statute to provide taxpayer address investigation to ICE if it is connected to criminal immigration investigations. Sure is. The case Centro de Trabajadores Unidos, the Center for fucking United Workers versus Scott Bessent, was filed by several immigration activist organizations, including Immigrant Solidarity du Paje and Somos un Pueblo Unido, who argued that the IRS data sharing plan with the Department of Look, bro, they went in fucking. They should have just translated
There you
their shit
go.
into English. They went into it with fucking Spanish names and thinking that that was gonna work. The department, they went in bilingual and thought that shit was gonna work. Who argued that the IRS's data sharing plan with the Department of Homeland Security was illegal, arbitrary, and violated immigrants' trust. But Judge Frederick, who's unswayed, pointedly
Trust.
directed to Section 6103 I2 of the Internal Revenue Code, which explicitly allows federal agencies to request and receive tax return information such as names and addresses for criminal investigations. I love it. I love it, man. This is the type of shit winning. Let's just keep winning, man. This is the type of shit that we need to hear more of. And I didn't even know about that because, like, again, the Marxist state media doesn't put that shit out.
No. Well, they'll talk about it. They'll talk about it tonight, saying, "Oh my God, these poor people."
Yeah, the pundits, the Rachel fucking Madhouse will
Mhm.
she'll what do you call it on her show, she'll bitch and complain about it and these poor people and woe is them and all this other fucking crap that goes on. Um Blondie says finally an actual purpose for the IRS.
Mhm.
Yo, Blondie, you are so right.
That's
You're
you know
so
what,
right
and
about
that
that.
Blondie, that's exactly how they're gonna. That's exactly how they're gonna spin it.
Yep.
They're gonna spin it saying, "Oh, now instead of processing tax returns for Americans, they're gonna be strained now because the Trump administration is going to be pulling a percentage of them to help track down illegal. Well, they won't call them illegal; they'll call them these migrants."
Oh, hey, you
That's exactly
remember?
how they'll spin it.
Yeah, that's exactly how they'll spin it. You're 100% correct. Do you remember that fucking crazy Episcopal church fucking chick that was in the national prayer after the inauguration and whatnot and was chastising
Yes,
Trump? All right. Did you hear what was going on with that? It's just as funny. You'll laugh at
I
this.
didn't know about her, but I will say this: the Episcopalian Church today
Yes.
made a public statement that they're not going to help resettle Afrikaners.
Yes. This is what I was bringing right now. Because you know why? Because all of that money that they were getting from USAID is gone. Right? So that's what it comes down.
Ah,
That's what it comes down to. So this is, if you guys remember, the nut job who was at the national prayer after the inauguration. Um,
mhm.
she was part of the Episcopal Church. Says Episcopal Church ends refugee partnership with U.S. government. Cites moral opposition to resettle persecuted white Afrikaners from South Africa.
What
The far
happened? I
left
thought we need to
leadership.
show
Yeah.
empathy.
Yeah, this is again, if these people are running your church, run. The far left leadership of the Episcopal Church announced Monday that it is severing its nearly 40-year partnership with the U.S. government to resettle refugees, all because the Trump administration dared to classify white South African Afrikaners as refugees in need of protection. The same Episcopal
Hmm.
Church that prided itself on aiding persecuted people from war torn regions is now walking away from its commitment simply because the next wave of refugees are white Christian farmers, victims of violent racial targeting in post apartheid Africa. The church claims resettling these families would violate their moral line, according to religious news.
Moral
This is,
line.
yeah,
That's the
but
most absurd thing I've ever heard, mostly from
yeah,
a church.
yeah, it is. But think about it, okay? It really comes down to the money. It's not they're going to make a political statement because they just want to make a political statement, right? We're just going to be anti-Trump to be anti-Trump. That's just how we're going to roll, right? But it really comes down
Mhm.
to they've lost so much money from all the NGOs, okay?
Oh,
That
yeah.
these religious NGOs, many of them are Catholic, and me as a Catholic, I've fucking have railed about shutting those fucking things down for a long time as a Catholic. It just got because I know exactly what they do. But these other, religious NGOs, Protestant, doesn't whatever, Pentecostal, there are NGOs of every fucking form of Christianity, whatever. All right, that do the same fucking thing. They all have the same MO on how they operate and stuff like that. And it's really that's what it comes down to. They're pissed off, okay, that what do you call it? They're not getting any money anymore. They got that shit got ripped from them. All right. And that's what it comes down to, really. It's all about the money, man. The Benjamins, brother. Has shit to do with moral this and moral fucking whatever. It's bullshit. It's all crock of shit. You know,
It's
fucking
ridiculous.
it is,
You know what?
man.
And every time they make us anytime them, the Episcopal Church, anybody on the left makes that statement,
Yeah.
they're basically just reinforcing how racist they are
Yes.
by saying that yes, white people don't need any help.
Absolutely.
Because why? Because why? Tell us why.
Right. Yeah. And then
Because they don't need the help, and all these minorities, which by the way, in all these other countries of the world, they're not actually minorities. They're only minorities here in the US.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say
The
it's so true.
population is them, but that's how
Yeah.
they look down on all these when if you have a little bit of melanin in your skin, they look down on you, and they're like, oh, they have this that white savior complex. Oh, we have to like that woman I posted right before I came on with her, holding the sign up for the fucking rapists in the back of the van. Oh, we love you. We
I
love
know. I know.
you.
It's just like we love you.
Hang on.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Chelsea,
Yeah.
what's going on? It's good to see you. It's amazing to see, man. They again, hills to die on, right? Here's another hill to die on. And it's okay. It's part of it's bullshit like that, okay, and leaders like her are why fucking, the younger generation are moving to the more traditional churches and whatnot because they don't want to deal with this bullshit and the DEI shit and they want to just learn about God and Jesus. That's it. They just can we just talk about Jesus Christ, please, and not all this other bullshit, okay? And they're just tired of it, man. And I get it and I understand it. But these people are something else, man. Again, it all comes down to money, and they've lost a considerable amount of money over the last 4 months. We're talking about millions of dollars gone, vaporized, just because we're gonna pull this, we're gonna pull that. They fucking got rid of a whole. Do you listen? USAID was created for the CIA. Okay, it was how they got into other countries as fucking foreign aid workers. All right, and they've done that forever. And through that, it morphed into this is how we pay to get this done. This is how we're gonna fucking get our tentacles, okay, all over the world in some of these third world countries and essentially dictate from far behind, all right, how things are gonna happen and get down on these countries and whatnot. So that's what USAID was essentially a fucking mill for the CIA to get into other countries and whatnot. Uh, it's just bullshit. I'm so glad that they ripped it apart. Still more needs to get ripped, but again, it's great to see these people just fucking losing it, just losing their shit left, right. I'm happy for it. Wow, there's a lot of shit that happened in the news today, man. It's just like one thing right after the other. It's gonna be like this for guys. It's gonna be like this on Wednesday too. I'm just gonna be shooting through things because I'm gonna be missing all the news all week this week. I'm gonna be catching it when I get home. It's simply old school. Turn on the TV at 5:30 and find out what the fuck happened in the world. Uh, that's just how it's gonna be for the next couple of weeks, actually. But anyway, I'm gonna we'll call it, brother. I gotta get up early.
Yep.
Yeah. So what do you got, man?
All good. I mean, I
You
don't
got
know.
it?
I would just to say, you know what? It's last week. It was just a matter of they were finally starting to arrest people,
Yeah.
and I hope that continues. I hope none of
Yeah.
these people get let off the hook. Um,
Yeah.
with them breaking the line because they've gone on national TV and said that they're going to up the ante. They need to do more, and they need to do
Yeah.
more. So
I agree, man.
let them. We don't have to go looking for the trouble. The trouble will come to us.
Right.
I just hope that in these jurisdictions they'll. And that guy when we were there, we were talking on Friday. Remember, I was saying when is that? Well, the politician was arrested, the mayor,
Yes.
and it was like, oh, when did he get out? Yeah, he got out probably. I think he got out by the time we started the podcast. He was
Yeah.
only in there for
You're
like a
absolutely
couple
correct.
hours,
You're
and
absolutely
it's just
correct.
like
He was.
ridiculous. Fucking teach them a lesson.
Yeah, and it's
He should
because
have
we
been in
don't
it for at least a
fucking.
weekend.
Yeah, I agree, man. We don't teach anybody any lessons and stuff. But yeah,
Mhm.
he should have, right? He shouldn't have seen a judge until Monday. He got arrested on
Yeah.
Friday. He shouldn't have seen a
You
fucking
put your
judge
hands
until
on a
Monday.
cop and they let you right back out? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
it's just it's just nuts. It's nuts. But again, I'm with you. I'm glad that we're at least we're doing that, but there needs to be there needs to be follow up. It's not just okay, we arrested you. It needs to be you pick one of
Mhm.
these dingbats up on a Friday. They shouldn't be seeing a judge until because if they pick you or I up, okay, on a Friday, we're not going to see a magistrate until fucking Monday.
Mhm.
Okay, if we're lucky, all right, because again, this is federal, so like if we're lucky, we'll
Yep,
get to see a magistrate on Monday.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just it's stupid, man. Again, he was out in no time. They were fucking, like you said, by the time we started the show on Friday, he was probably already out in the
Oh
streets
yeah.
doing his thing. It's just
It
all
just goes to
retarded.
show you there is no they always try to make it racial.
It's not a racial
Saying,
thing,
oh well,
man.
people have you're persecuted because of the color of your skin. No, it's nothing to do with the color of your skin. It has to do with the letter behind your name.
Yep.
You got that
Yep.
D behind your name, seems to really things really seem to work out well for you.
Oh yeah. Like it's very miraculous how things go down for you if you have that D,
Mm-hmm.
essentially in front of your name, right? Like that's because that's he's a fucking politician. So as long as you got that
Mm-hmm.
D in front of your name, you don't have to worry about
Yeah.
jack shit. You're gonna
If it
again.
was
He was
a
the,
if it was a
the
local Republican rep, he wouldn't have come out that night.
nah. He wouldn't.
He would have
He
been
would
there at
have just
least
been
overnight.
yeah. Absolutely. Um, it's just bullshit, man. Uh, again, you and I, we'd be fucking paying through the wazoo. Uh, we wouldn't have seen a magistrate. We got picked up on Friday. They wouldn't have seen us until fucking Friday of the next week. We'd have spent the whole week in the clink, hemmed up and shit because we're just an ordinary citizen. All we have to do is shit. We've had plenty of ordinary citizens, J6ers, that tell you how the fucking federal government fucking acts and how they get down and work. You know, we know exactly how the federal government moves. We watched it with the J6ers when it comes to the judiciary process. It's just bullshit, man. And again, this dude has a D in front of his name as a politician, and but he's a mayor. Who gives a fuck? Seriously, like really, who cares? Why should we care that he's a mayor, right? The congresswoman who was assaulting cops, why hasn't she been fucking locked up yet?
Yeah. Well, both black, by the way.
Yeah,
So see,
that's
it
really
doesn't color of skin doesn't matter. It all depends on it all depends on who you worship at the altar.
yeah, that's so true,
That's
man.
it.
But anyway, fam, we are getting ready to call it. Make sure you're following Red Day. He's every Sunday on Rumble. He's dropping his weekly updates. I put him in the Discord for you guys and whatnot. Make sure you follow him on Instagram if you have Instagram. He's got good posts every day. Blondie's been posting a
All
lot of
day.
stuff. Um, but as for me, I will not be posting a lot the next couple of weeks on Instagram
Mhm.
just because I got to get used to the new job and whatnot. So a lot of shit to do. But anyway, brother, I will
Mhm.
catch you on Friday, man.
Yep. Have a good
Again,
night.
we got Canadian Black MAGA this Friday, brother.
Cool.
So,
Looking
so it
forward
should
to
be
it.
a pretty yeah, it should be a pretty good what do you call it conversation about the going on up in Canada. It's always good.
Mhm. Awesome.
But all right, man, I'll take us out, bro.
All right.
Well, America, that's another episode of Break Them Podcast. I just want to give a shout out to Rogue Nina, Conserve Reality, General Mills, aka Canadian Black MAGA. I didn't see anybody new jump in. Did I see Patriot Daywalker uh jumped in and whatnot? I haven't seen anybody. Did I miss anybody, Jonathan? Any new? Yas 1334, which is also Jonathan Stevie, my moderator. Gotta thank him for always, doing his thing. And he just does a great job. And he's the one who's what do you call it? Getting this together. We will have another movie night on Saturday. So Rogue Nina, we need you to, drop in the Discord what you want to see because you've been a trooper hanging with us. So we want to make sure we give you what do you call it? A chance to pick a movie. I didn't miss anyone good. Again, Want to thank Scars and Stripes Coffee for being a sponsor and whatnot. They're a fantastic company. They're all about faith, family, and freedom. It's the reason why I would, represent them and speak about them. So there is a link in the description, and if you hit my link tree as well on any of my pages, there's a link to them with the code and whatnot. So with that said, I am the Big Red One Guy signing out. And remember that together and only together can we break the machine. God bless you all. God bless America. And I will see you all on Wednesday, fam. Have a good night.